Good evening. I'll now call the City of Cannon Falls City Council meeting for Tuesday, May the 17th to order. Roll call.
Councilmember Berg.
Here.
Gallops.
Here.
Holst.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Mattson.
Here.
Schoblum.
Here.
And Mayor Robinson.
Here. All please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City Council meeting. This time, the chair will take a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
So moved.
I'll second.
A motion by Merle, second by Rod. Any discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Approved. This moves us on to item 5 this evening, public input. Citizens may speak to issues not on the agenda. Before speaking, please give your name and address for the minutes, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone wishing to address the council under public input? Seeing as there is no one, we will move on to item 6 this evening, presentations, and I'll turn it over to Chief McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As council may know, in the past, we've recognized officers for their outstanding conduct. This evening, we're going to be recognizing Officer Jill Ekstrom. This has a special meaning for those of us in law enforcement, being that this is Police Week, which is a time where we recognize officers who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in serving their communities. For us, we're here this evening to present Officer Jill Ekstrom with the Life Saving Award. And if I get Jill to come forward, and I'll read what's on the certificate. Cannon Falls Police Department Life Saving Award presented to Officer Jill Ekstrom. On February 21st at 6 p.m., Officer Jill Ekstrom, who had just started her shift, was dispatched to a residence for a female choking. When Officer Ekstrom arrived, she found the female's husband performing the Heimlich maneuver. Officer Ekstrom took over and continued to administer the Heimlich maneuver to the female. Officer Ekstrom was able to get a couple of chunks of food out, but breathing was not restored. The female became unresponsive, and Officer Ekstrom, with the assistance of a member of the ambulance that had just arrived, laid the female on the ground. The female was blue in the face. Chest compressions were started along with rescue breathing. After 2 breaths, the female began to breathe on her own. The ambulance arrived at the location and took over care for the female. Within a couple of minutes, the female was talking and was taken to the hospital to be checked. Officer Ekstrom, who is an emergency medical technician as well, reacted just as she is trained, and her quick response and actions saved the life of a choking woman. It is for those actions that Officer Ekstrom is presented on the 17th day of May, 2016 with the Cannon Falls Police Department Life Saving Award, presented by Chief McCormick. Congratulations, Jill.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm also pleased to present you with the life-saving pin that you can wear on your uniform. So
Thank you.
I'll let Council direct any questions or comments they have.
Just like to say, you guys do a great job. You're always training, and you just never know when that training is going to actually have to come into use. So good job, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Yep, and congratulations, and maybe you want to just turn around and present the award to her and the pin so the family can take pictures?
We can do that.
Okay. Thank you for your service, Jill.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Jill.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we'll move on to item 7 this evening, which is a public hearing, Resolution 2202, establishing utility rate charges. Mr. Johnson. Your name was on it.
My name is on there. I think that one got slid in there. Yeah, tonight we've advertised for a public hearing for tonight for water and sewer and storm sewer adjustments. The presentation was given to you 2 meetings ago by Rebecca from Ellers, and we're requesting adoption of the resolution to set those rates.
As you all have in your packets there, the increases were 5% for water, 5% for sanitary sewer, and 2% for storm water. At this time, the chair will open up the public hearing for the water rate increases. Is there anybody wishing to address the council for utility rate increases? Is there anybody willing or wanting to address the council for 2016 utility rate increases? Is there anyone wanting to address the council on 2016 utility rate increases? Seeing as there is no one, we will close the public hearing at this time, and the chair will take a motion to approve the public hearing, or the resolution increasing the utility rates for the remainder of 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. With that, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is item 8. For those at home, I will read the consent agenda. Items on this area of the agenda may be adopted, or they may be removed and placed on the business area of the agenda for discussion purposes before approving. Item A is the just and correct claims for accounting period ending May the 13th, 2016. Item B are the meeting minutes for the May 3rd, 2016 City Council meeting. Item C are the Personnel Committee hiring recommendations. Item D, the Emergency Response Team Agreement. Item E, John and Phyllis Altoff sanitary sewer issue. Item F, introduction and first reading of Ordinance 345, renewing Dakota Electric franchise agreement. Item G, approve concept of separate assessment agreement for the West Side 2 project. And item H, City Administrator annual performance review. Are there any items anybody wishes to bring down to council business?
I would like to bring down item D. I just have a couple questions.
Item D? Okay. Item D will become item 9A. Any other items? If not, Chair will take a motion to approve the consent agenda minus item D.
So moved.
No,
Sec-
second.
Motion by Merle, a second by Rod. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That moves us on to item 9A, which will be city business and emergency response team agreement.
Yeah, I just had a couple questions, Chief. When I read this, you had a dollar figure in there which included the uniform and stuff. Are you looking at another whole staff person with this position?
No, no.
So it'd be current?
This would be using our existing staff. And the dollar figure here would be the equipment that they would need. They use specialized vests and plating, as well as a ballistic helmet, different uniform. They're more of a BDU style uniform than the traditional that you would see myself or the other officers wearing.
So would they work, how are the hours determined?
It's strictly an
On-
on-call
okay.
basis. So for us, if the officer was working and he was the only officer on, he would not be able to respond to that call out. If it was still going on when another officer came in, then, he would be able to respond for it.
Otherwise, it'd be on call
Yep,
If they
they-
weren't on duty at that time, they would
Right.
respond?
Yep.
Okay.
And so for us, again, as I outlined, given where we are staffing-wise, it provides us the ability to do this. I think that, being able to put an officer on the team, provide some benefits back to the agency as far as bringing back some of that training, that type of thing. It certainly for us also provides an opportunity that an officer that may have that interest and we weren't offering it might draw them to a different agency. So I think from that aspect, even though this was not a planned expense, as I explained to the police commission, it's one that I think I can absorb by just deferring some of the stuff that I had planned on, and we'll just see where we are at the end of the year. I don't expect that it would negatively impact my operational budget.
Okay. And so, never mind, I can't remember what my other question was. Kind of went out there. But, okay, that pretty much explains it. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? If not, Chair will take a motion and approval to have this agreement reviewed by the city attorney, approve and authorize the chief of police to sign and implement the agreement after approved by the city attorney.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Merle, second by Lynn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That moves us on to reports. Mr. Maroney.
I'll just say that you may soon notice at Art.org purchased the building commonly known as the former bowling alley. You may notice quite a bit of exterior improvements that will begin shortly as approved by the Economic Development Authority for the second phase of Art.org's improvements to that building. There will be considerable landscaping on the exterior, as well as some interior painting and electrical work, and then some additional phases yet to be determined and reviewed by the EDA. But good news is we're going to start noticing some activity at that building, and it's going to start at the outside.
Thanks. Chief?
Nothing nearly that exciting, other than the weather is, been very nice. Again, we're starting to see a lot more bikes, not just on the trail, but on the streets, especially with kids. Just be mindful of the people that are out. The sun is setting a little later, so we're getting more evening walkers again. So just another thing when you're driving, just be aware of. That's all I have.
Ron?
I have no update with MediaCom, but however, I do. Frontier will be taking a request for establishing a franchise agreement here back to their meeting later this week in consideration with a bunch of other cities too in the Midwest. So I'm not looking for anything real soon on that. I am meeting with Hiawatha Broadband, however, next week, and I think based on our email exchange that I may have some positive news out of that one. We'll see. That's all.
That it? Merle?
Nothing.
Lynn?
Just one item. John Hobart was here in front of the council a few meetings ago regarding the pickleball courts, and then he was also at the Public Works meeting earlier this month. And so we are going to meet, Tom and I and possibly Ron, along with the superintendent and the Dave Peterson, who is their maintenance person now that is in charge of the maintenance department, as well as Shepherd Center. And we're going to meet at Shepherd Center tomorrow morning to discuss the feasibility of looking at possibly having a three-way commitment between the three entities to look at adding that availability to Cannon Falls. Currently, pickleball is also taught at the school and is part of their curriculum, so it might be beneficial for all of us to be involved in that. So we're going to meet for the first time tomorrow morning in regards to that.
Thanks.
I have nothing.
Nothing.
Just the legislature, as you all know, has to be done by Sunday night, midnight, so we'll find out what's happening there. It's not looking too promising with the two sides right now on transportation. So I think everything's hedging on transportation up there. So we'll find out more as the legislature tries to finish up this week. They're batting things back and forth for transportation right now, so we'll have to see if what comes about, see where, if anything we did falls out in anything from this session. That's all I have on that front of it. I will be in DC the next meeting, so Morris will have the meeting, but I am taking the healthcare issue to DC to speak with our legislators up there to let them know that southeast Minnesota, especially Cannon Falls, is getting hosed over a little bit when it comes to healthcare. So, and I'll be up there talking transportation with those folks also. So that's all I've got, and if nobody else has anything this evening, we will ask to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.